Hello, I am Xarkun, and this is World of Warships Legends. Today we're going to go over the patch notes for the May 2022 update. Before we begin, a little disclaimer. The information I present in this video was obtained from an advanced draft of the patch notes. I left a link to the final version of the patch notes in the description if you'd like to check it out for yourself. And now, on to our feature presentation. First up, we've got a whole new line of tech tree destroyers coming into early access for this update. They are, of course, the Pan-European destroyers. Now, these destroyers are not equipped with smoke screens, but from my understanding of them, they have fast reloading guns, at least at the higher tiers, and fast-traveling torpedoes with lower than average alpha. In fact, I suspect the higher-tier destroyers are going to have the fastest torpedoes in the game. I'd be surprised if they didn't. Now, if you'd like to acquire these ships while they are in early access, you'll have to get a lucky roll of the dice, since the only way to get these destroyers during the early access period is by opening the Pan-European destroyer crates. Now, from what I can tell, there are two versions of these crates, a small one and a big one, or a premium one, I suppose. The patch notes say that the guarantee system is imposed on the, quote, big crates, and you will be guaranteed to receive one of the early access Pan-European destroyers in every 20th big crate. Now, do keep in mind that these are the tech tree destroyers on the new line from Tier 3 to Tier 6. The Tier 7 Pan-European destroyer, Ostergotland, also known as Oyster Goatland, will not be available until the next update, when the line comes out of early access and is fully released. So the highest tier you're going to get out of one of those crates is the Tier 6 Tech Tree Pan-European Destroyer. But it's also important to note that the Tier 7 Premium Pan-European Destroyer Friesland also has a chance of dropping from one of the big Pan-European Destroyer crates. And the guarantee threshold for Friesland is 30 crates. Now, I wouldn't advise you to actually buy any of these crates, though, if you want to get Friesland. The patch notes also say that Friesland will be available for global XP, and so will the Tier 6 Premium Pan-European Destroyer Błyskawica. Speaking of Tier 6 Premium Pan-European Destroyers, the Premium Destroyer Oland, or Erland, I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it, will debut in the store on May 23rd. To go with this influx of Pan-European destroyers, 2 Pan-European commanders are being added, although you may already have the first if you happen to own the Friesland. And that first commander is the Universal Pan-European Commander Konrad Helfrich. The other commander will be a destroyer-specific commander to join with Jerzy Swirsky. Some say this commander's torpedoes defy the laws of physics. Others claim that he's never set a smokescreen in his life. All I know is he's named Stig Hansen Eriksson, aka the Stig, and he will be the torpedo-focused Pan-European destroyer commander to offer a little bit more variety than Swirsky, whose skills are more gun-focused. Eriksson's base trait is called Thunderbolt, and it reduces the engine boost consumable cooldown by a percentage that scales according to the commander rank, and it also buffs torpedo damage output. But I think that's quite enough about the new Pan-European destroyers and commanders. Next up, we'll talk about the upcoming campaign, which is called Back to Belfast. The reward for the campaign is, of course, HMS Belfast. But this isn't the HMS Belfast you might think it is. This is a Tier 7 version of Belfast called Belfast 43. Belfast 43 enjoys access to both high explosive and armor piercing, much like the regular Belfast, but it is also equipped with 2 triple tube torpedo launchers, as well as the smokescreen generator, radar, and sonar consumables. The campaign has the usual 100 milestones, and it will last for 5 weeks. Details about the campaign breakdown will be released soon, but I can tell you one thing, and that is that Belfast 43 is widely regarded to be inferior to the classic Belfast on PC. But that may not be the case in Legends. There is often a lot of variance between PC ships and their Legends counterparts, so it remains to be seen whether Belfast 43 is superior to the standard Belfast, although, being Tier 7, it will have to face Legendary tier ships, and the traditional Tier 6 Belfast will be immune to that because of matchmaking rules. In any case, it remains to be seen how this ship will play in practice, and we'll certainly be taking a look at Belfast 43 on day 1 of the update. Moving on, we will see the return of some collaboration content this update, namely the Azur Lane and Godzilla vs. Kong content. Both content sets will return in full, except apparently for Azur Lane Atago. Like, literally, I think this means all the other Azur Lane commanders are going to be available, just not Azur Lane Atago. Why that is, I have no idea. But the patch notes say that the Azur Lane content is headlined by the likes of Azur Lane Baltimore, Azur Lane Queen Elizabeth, and Azur Lane Graf Spee. Out of the 3 of those, my recommendation is AL Graf Spee, who has a skill that buffs the cruiser's concealment, and the German cruisers have very poor concealment. So I find Azur Lane Graf Spee is a good commander for some of the German heavy cruisers, since she can make them stealthier. The Godzilla vs. Kong items, if for whatever reason you would like those, will be available until June 6th, and the Azur Lane items will be available from May 30th to June 20th, so you've got plenty of time to scoop up any of those Azur Lane commanders that you want to get your hands on. Next up, we've got a bit of information about a new feature called Auctions. Here's how this works. You make a bid for a lot that has a finite number of in-game items available within it. Then, you either win the bid and receive the items, or you lose the bid and you get refunded. For now, the bids can be placed with doubloons or credits depending on what the lot up for auction is. The auction will be live from June 2nd to June 6th. No details on exactly what will be available, and frankly, I'm not really sure how I feel about this auction system. I've seen the auctions before on PC, but I have never participated in one. We'll have to take a closer look at this new feature in June. I suppose if you're betting credits on some sort of prizes, then that's not too terrible, but doubloons, I don't know. Anyway, let's now return to content that isn't actually monetized content, and that is 3 new seasons of the excellent Arena mode are coming. The Arms Race mode is back, except this time the buff that restores HP will not be included. Other than that, no changes to the Arms Race mode, and also no aircraft carriers in Arena. More information on the upcoming Arena seasons will be released in an article that should be published next week on the WoWsL Legends official website. And really, that's about all there is to this update, aside from a couple new premiums set to debut in the store. The patch notes do not give me the date on which these ships will be added, but they are the Tier 4 Japanese battleship Myogi, which is a precursor design to the Congo class and sports 6 14-inch guns with 2 turrets in the rear of the ship and 1 on the front. The patch notes describe Miyogi as, quote, pretty quick, and they say she, quote, sports respectable AA and secondary outfits for her tier, end quote. The other ship is the one I mentioned earlier, the Tier 6 Pan-European Premium Destroyer Erland, which has quick-firing main battery guns, strong anti-aircraft defenses, and access to the defensive anti-aircraft consumable. Oland also has the repair party consumable, but like the tech tree of Pan-European destroyers, it does not have a smoke screen. And that really is about it, aside from an update to the store and a note about the upcoming overdue balance changes that were announced in that recent blog post. The update to the store will allow you to preview permanent camos as well as commander voiceovers and commander guises before you purchase them. As for the balance changes, none of them appear to be coming in this update, but the patch notes say that, quote, a sufficiently big surprise is lying in wait for you. Stay tuned, end quote. Who knows what that means? I certainly don't know what that means. I guess we better stay tuned. As usual, the patch notes end with a list of sundry bug fixes and miscellaneous changes that I don't really think are worth highlighting in their entirety. You can find a full list in the patch notes by following the link in the description. I will, however, point out a couple of these miscellaneous changes. The first is that a new sonar icon is being added. When opposing ships are using sonar from behind an island, you'll see a corresponding icon, which is distinguished from the radar detection icon. And that is a nice change for sure. The second change is described as a new type of challenge for newer players called demo battles. These battles will allow you to play up to 2 games with the types of ships that you haven't played more than once yet. So I take that to mean that if you haven't played any games in destroyers and you're a new player, you'll be able to play a destroyer for free for 2 battles to see if you enjoy playing destroyers and you actually want to start grinding some. At least I think that is the meaning of this part of the patch notes. I suppose we will see when the update drops. In the case, though, that you do play these demo battles and you're able to try out one of the classes of ships, the opponents you face will all be AI, and any booster flags or camos that you use in these battles will not be spent, and you will still receive XP, only it will be 20% of the XP you would get for playing regular standard battles. And I know I've said that's it about 3 times now, but that really is it. That's pretty much all there is to cover in the patch notes. I am certainly excited for the Pan-European Destroyer line. I've been looking forward to this since they changed Jerzy Swirsky's flag from the Polish flag to the Pan-European one, so I'm glad they're finally coming to the game. Let me know what you think of the update in the comments below. Feel free to ask any questions. I'll try my best to answer, but if I don't answer, somebody in the comments section probably will. Thank you for watching, of course. Give the video a thumbs up before you go. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.